when I was a player, I was told to focus on the process, and I was always told that. But I never knew what the process was. I just heard the word process. And we, as coaches, tell our players, focus on the process. It's important to be very clear about what the process is. Now, the process is something, or a series of steps that get you to an outcome. So I've changed my philosophy a little bit in the last couple of years to revolve around, we need to be driven by outcome and focused on process. And what that means is we have to train and fight to win. And here's the process to do that. Because I think that when we talk about focus on process, and outcomes start to become part of our thinking, we start thinking about losing and start thinking about winning, and then we start focusing in just on the outcome. But if we know that we want to win, and that's what we're striving for, everything that we do is about, focusing on that element of it, of trying not to lose the match, and you want to do everything it takes to win. So my process that I put in place is about, here's the steps to win this match. Now, we can't shy away from the fact that, we want to win. As players, the last thing that you want to do is to go on a court and lose a match. That's the last thing you want to do, regardless of how well you played, and whether your mum or your dad says it's okay if you lose, and your coach says it's okay if you lose. Well, it's not okay, because in competition, we're out there to win, right? And that's the bottom line. But what is the process that you have to win? What are you focusing on to get those results? And I sat with a young player yesterday before their match, and we focused on setting some goals. And I asked the player, what are the 3 things that when you do these really well, you perform well? And she said to me, I move my feet, and I'll do this before every point, and I get on my toes. I grunt on every ball because I know that I'm using all my energy through every shot, so therefore I'm engaged in that shot. And the other one was, I've got to focus on my decision-making, defense, neutral, and offense, and I need to focus on what ball I'm playing at what time. So my decision-making plays a big role. I said, okay, great. So there's 3 things you can control. When you do those 3 things really well, you perform. That is your process. We're driven to win this match, and I want you to do everything you can to win, and focus in on, competing and doing what you have to do, and drinking your water at the change of ends, taking your time, holding the other player up when they want to rush the game, slowing it down and so forth when you need to slow it down, but also speeding it up when you need to speed it up and things are going well. But we need to ensure that our processes of those 3 things that you spoke about are what you need to do to win this match. So we set those 3 goals in place. Now, it's important that your process goals are based around things that you can control. There's no point saying, okay, I want to make sure they don't hit a big serve. Now, we can't control that. If you're playing John Isner or you're playing Ivo Karlovic, they're going to hit a big serve even if you don't want them to. So you've got to have process goals that relate to what you can control. And when you get that right, we start to get things in place that are going to win you more points than when you lose. So it's important to think about focusing on a process to get to your outcome, but you're driven and you're focused on, I want to get the outcome by doing this process. So the whole philosophy I've changed into is not focus on process, is be driven to win, but here's the steps that you are going to take to get there. And I think once I started getting that balance right, of there is an outcome focus as well, but here's the process to get that. That's when we started to get more success with our athletes. And in particular on the tour, when you're driven by money, you're driven by points, you're driven by outcome. So it's important that we are driven by that, but here's the process to get that.